Most classical Hindu deities are depicted as the ultimate embodiment of physical perfection. They are typically carved from solid marble or cast in gleaming bronze, featuring perfectly symmetrical limbs, elegant postures, and intricate, lifelike features. But look closely at the deity worshipped in the eastern Indian city of Puri. This is Lord Jagannath. Instead of polished stone, he is carved from wood. Instead of graceful arms and legs, he has blunt stumps, and dominating his face are a pair of massive, perfectly round eyes. Devotees sing of these unique features in traditional prayers, affectionately calling him Chaka-9, which translates directly to huge round eyes. It raises a rather glaring question. Why would the Lord of the Universe, which is exactly what the name Jagannath means, reside in a physical form that looks so visibly unfinished? This appearance isn't the result of a mistake. It marks the intersection of royal ambition and ancient forest traditions, preserving a history that most other temples smoothed away. To understand the idol, look at his home. This is the main temple at Puri, a towering 65-meter-high masterpiece of 12th century Kalinga architecture. The sheer scale of this colossal stone monument stands in stark contrast to the raw, simple wooden idol housed inside. The mythological explanation for this contrast takes us back to a legendary ruler named King Indradumna. According to tradition, he found a sacred log floating in the sea and commissioned Vishwakarma, the architect of the gods, to carve the deity from it. Vishwakarma agreed, but he laid down one absolute condition. He had to be left completely alone behind closed doors to work, and no one could interrupt him until the carving was finished. Weeks went by with no sound. The king's wife grew anxious, assuming the carpenter had died, and pushed open the temple doors. In a flash, Vishwakarma vanished, leaving the wooden idols exactly as they were, devoid of hands or feet. The mythology blames human impatience for the shape of the deity. But if we dig into the historical record, we find an even more compelling, deeply sociological explanation. Long before the giant stone temples were built, Jagannath evolved from a local deity named Nilamadaba. He was originally worshipped by the indigenous Sabar and Bhil communities living in the region's dense forests. Many of these forest-dwelling tribes traditionally worshipped sacred wooden poles. The blunt, handless form of the modern idol is a direct continuation of that ancient, minimalist aesthetic. You can still see this unbroken lineage today in the Dayatopatis. These are highly revered temple priests who perform crucial daily rituals, and they claim direct descent from those original indigenous tribes. Because the idol is made of organic wood rather than eternal stone, it eventually decays. Every 12 to 19 years, the temple performs a ceremony called Navakalibara, meaning new body, where the old idols are buried and exact replicas are carved from fresh, sacred neem trees. The site at Puri represents a rare cultural survival. It shows how indigenous forest rituals were integrated, rather than replaced, as the temple grew into a royal power center. Look at the sheer scale of the crowds in this image of the Ratha Yatra. Every monsoon, the deity is pulled through the streets on massive chariots. The momentum of these temples overwhelmed early European observers, giving English a new word, juggernaut. Before the heavy wheels can turn, a ritual takes place called Chera Bahara. A solitary man steps forward to ceremonially sweep the road in front of the massive chariots with a golden broom. That sweeper is the Gajapati king. As the most powerful monarch in the state, he performs this menial labor to publicly prove he is a humble servant to the deity. Through this act, the Ratha Yatra temporarily erases societal hierarchies. For a few days, royalty, caste, and class barriers dissolve, making the divine accessible to anyone standing in the street. Which brings us back to the striking wooden face of the deity himself. In local belief, these missing hands are a theological statement. They illustrate a God who accepts the world's devotion through spiritual presence alone, rather than through physical reach. And those massive, unblinking eyes, known as the Chaka-9, represent an eternal, protective, all-seeing watchfulness over humanity. It reflects the deep comfort found in the traditional poem, Tu na sambale tu hame kan sambale. If you don't take care of us, who will? Ultimately, the wood, the round eyes, and the stump-like arms form a god defined by radical inclusion, a shape forged by centuries of forest tradition and royal duty.